And welcome to another episode of Pressing the Point Parp Play It Up Loud podcast. Tonight we've got myself, Neil, Shaun, and Dennis. We're just going to talk about what we've been up to, things that we've been watching, or any pickups that we've had, and gaming. And it's also the week before, or a couple of days before, really, Death by Arcade, which we'll all be attending. So yeah, certainly a lot to catch up because we've got some pretty big parps on tonight. So yeah,
Wonder what they could be. If anyone's watching via video, you might get a spoiler.
one of us may have a bit of like an Easter egg in the background.
Yeah.
I actually do have an Easter egg on top of what you can see over my shoulder as well, but we'll get into that. It's okay.
Really?
Oh, even
Denny, you saucy bitch.
Juicy Easter egg. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say minx, but I thought bitch might be
whatever. I'm comfortable with whatever term.
Whatever I am, I'm saucy.
Am I a bitch for picking up like 4 of those? Kind of. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we'll talk about it. So,
Yeah. Do we want to shoot it out of the gate? Dennis, you want to go first with what you've been up to and parps?
Okay.
Shoot it all over us, Denny. Shoot it all over us.
Let's get this out of the way, and then we can move on to other stuff. So if you are listening on audio only, over my shoulder, there are 5 straight line Nintendo classic Nintendo cabinets, which are all Nintendo HeliFire. They have different marquees because we've picked these up from an ex-operator. A couple of weekends ago, we saw a good friend of the show, Jerry Scott. Hello, Jerry. Put up a post in the Brisbane Arcade chat, as he did when I picked up this first HeliFire, actually. It was from Jerry as well. That there was an ad on Facebook Marketplace for a shit ton of arcade cabs, and they're all being sold in bulk as an operator clear out. So the ex-operator sadly passed away maybe a while ago. I'm not sure. I didn't probe too much when we talked to the family, but they were selling off these cabinets that were in storage. And so we were lucky enough to be able to get onto the seller quick enough and offered the right asking price, and we were basically just the first to be able to jump on it, and that's why we got these cabinets. So as part of the deal, we got 4 of these straight line Nintendo cabinets. We got a Crazy Climber and also got a blue Nintendo cab, which I'll talk about a little bit more after. But
can I just interject and say, I think I know what you mean by a straight line Nintendo cab. I don't know if you were going to explain that at all.
I am, yes.
All right, I'll shut up. Awesome.
So the original cabinet design for the classic shaped Nintendo cabinet that we know, where it has the cutaway that leads from the top of the upper bezel retainer all the way down to around where the about maybe 50 mil above where the control panel rests, there is a cutaway, so that you which is the design that we all know, but this is the design which predated that. This was something that was created by Nintendo in 1980. I think it's their first original upright cabinet design, and it was modified because operators found that people, when they were standing around watching people play the machines, that they couldn't see because the design of the cabinet sort of prevented a bit less sort of lateral view. So I'll spin my camera around so you can see this classic design which we're mentioning, and it will provide you a little bit more example of what we're talking about. Just trying to bring that around here. So this is the Space Demon cabinet that I was going to surprise you guys with later today, and but for explanation's sake, it's probably just easier to show you. So you can see here that the cutaway goes down to where the control panel is, and it's a lot easier for someone looking to be able to see from that angle because it cuts off the bottom, and that the angle of the monitor, because it's like a lean back sort of 40-degree angle that the monitor's installed in the cab. So if there's a bit of timber in the way and the monitor's lean back inside the cabinet, you can't see if you're standing away from it. So Nintendo went with that design instead of this design.
Right. I never even knew that. I didn't ever pick up on that there was a difference.
There's a difference. So these are quite a rarity in that case. And we were lucky enough to find an operator that had hung on to their stock for so long, and I guess with time they deteriorated quite a bit. They must have been in very good condition originally, but yeah, when we picked them up, they were covered in probably about 20 years worth of dust, I think, at least. So I was very lucky enough to get the assistance of Mr. Neil Cairns with getting these cabinets all loaded and into the truck. So looping back to the original point, sorry to go on a tangent talking about the shape of them and stuff, but we were able to secure these machines thanks to Jerry again. And so I had to call on the Saturday morning and ring around to try and find a hire truck that morning. And so I was able to find one. Took me about an hour ringing around, but I found a place that was still open on the Saturday and got the truck by about 10:30 in the morning. And yeah, went around, signed all the paperwork and signed my life away in insurance. And you know what it's like renting, that sort of stuff. There's always hidden costs. Not cheap. And yeah, so I swung on around and picked up Neil, and we drove over to this joint to pick the cabs up, which actually wasn't far from Neil's place. So nice, easy ride for you, mate. It was good.
Yeah.
It
was really funny. Like, sorry to interrupt.
No, please. Yeah.
The style of house, like it was in the middle of like the suburbs. Like you kind of expect the amount of cabs that they had to be like in like kind of like some country barnyard kind of thing. But this was just like, if anyone knows Brisbane, this is like 5-10 minutes from Chermside. So yeah, really bizarre find in this particular location, but just shows you that these cabs just must be everywhere, like just hiding, I swear.
Yeah. So if
for context, Denny, sorry, I'll also interrupt. You might get into it. Another thing that I may be jumping the gun on. You're going to go into how many there are and known of and that kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'm shutting up again. I'm just like, I've got all these questions running through my head and I'm really trying to like be patient.
The machines that you see, HeliFire was a pretty obscure, relatively unknown Nintendo game that was released in 1980. It's one of the pre-Donkey Kong games, if you look them up. So it's it's along the lines of games like Space Firebird, Space Demon, which is over my shoulder, and that's even more rare than these. So we'll go into that in a bit. But other games like Radar Scope, another one, and there are a few others as well that elude me right now. But these were pre-Donkey Kong era Nintendo games before the popularity of Nintendo went sort of, I guess vertical after we hit the Donkey Kong era. So yeah, these cabs were of limited production. I'd love to get some information from anyone who knows, or anybody listening to the podcast who has some information on just how many of this configuration of Red Cab were made, because I've only heard of about 4 or 5 before I actually found mine. And then, yeah, there was another bunch of these in Brisbane, just sitting in a shed.
Yeah.
Just
That's crazy.
considering how many there are in the world. And then those guys there all concentrated into one damn shed is just mind-blowing to me. Now, I think Neil and I talking about it during the day and talking to the family when we were loading these cabinets up, we actually got we worked out that this was it seems that there was when the operator was running these machines back in the day, they must have bought just like a container load of them from Nintendo in Japan, and that they've shipped them out here. So whether they had some arrangement with Nintendo to get them for a good price, because typically operators in Australia would have gotten cocktail cabs, because you can fit a lot more in a shipping container of the smaller cocktail cabinets, which is the same game, just in a smaller cab, compared to getting an upright. So it's very unusual to see these. And yeah, when I actually got my cabinet, the trippiest thing is that it had this weird UHF number written in marker on the inside of the cabinet, which I didn't really know what that was about. It was like a serial number had been written, but it didn't mean anything to me. It wasn't associated with the serial tag of the cabinet or anything like that. It was just written in there, and I just figured, well, whoever owned the cabinet back in the day, it was registered as an arcade machine, and that maybe it had something to do with that. Didn't think anything further of it. When we picked these 4 up, they have the same UHF number on them. So, talking to Neil when we were driving the truck back to my place, we've worked out that the serial numbers that we were seeing in my cab and the different numbers in these cabs, they all had UHF numbers as well. So it worked out that these cabinets, even though I bought this from Central Queensland, I had to go to Rockhampton to get that. These are all from the same shipment.
Wow.
So, and the same operator. And the serial numbers of my cabinet here and the one with the Space Fighter marquee there, my serial is 262 and that one is 265.
Wow.
That one there.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
So almost depending serial numbers for ours, and the rest are pretty close. I think they're all in the 200s. I think that one's 225, 265, and I can't remember what the other. Oh, wait, I can remember. The 4th one down that you see, unfortunately, that's got the serial tag missing off the back of it, which sucks because we can't tell anything about it without knowing that. But the one.
Does it have the UHF number though?
It does. Yeah, it's
Right.
still got like a Nico UHF number scrawled inside the cabinet, and the one at the end is 251. So they're all very close in production number, and I'm guessing that even though that one doesn't have a tag, it's probably pretty darn close to the other ones too, which is pretty trippy considering that, this amount of arcade history was purchased by one operator, hung on to them. Luckily enough, like I said before, when we were talking about it, they all managed to stay together, and the only one that seemed to go would have been this one, and I would have loved to have known if there are any more floating around. Hell, maybe he brought a dozen of them and that these are the only ones left. Don't know, but yeah.
Crazy. But made in Japan originally.
Made in Japan.
So shipped over to Australia, probably somewhere in Queensland at least.
Used in an arcade in the valley somewhere, I think.
Are they the only known ones in Australia that we know of?
Yes, I think so.
And all 5 of them are just sitting behind you. That is crazy, man. And how many in the world that are known?
There was only 5 that we knew of. There was a guy. What's the guy's name? I can think of his little Instagram picture. Orlando81. I don't know the guy's name. I've only been messaging him on Insta and on Clov. That's how I know him. another guy called Camaro Murph in I want to say one of the eastern states of the United States. He had one. Mike Halen from Mike's Arcade had a HeliFire upright as well. And there might have been one more, which I can't think of right now. And then, yeah, then there was mine. Top of that. And
Just insane.
so yeah, and the rest of these all found just 15 minutes from where I so,
crazy. So there's 9 in total now that we know of.
Yeah, I think so. Thereabouts.
And you've got 5.
Five.
You've got more than half.
Isn't
of
that
the
off?
known in the world?
Isn't that off the fucking chain? Like,
it still hasn't sunk in for me, and they're not even mine. Like it must just be nuts for you, man.
It's yeah, I lack even the words to describe it, because it's just one thing that I can say is that it's really fucking great to get these machines and to be able to secure them so that they can go to people who are going to fully restore them and get them back to what they were, as opposed to leaving them sitting in what was essentially like a barn. Like, you know, if anyone from the States is listening to the podcast, that they refer to these as a barn find, you know, because they end up covered in like dust and spiders and hay and shit. And mine literally, it had hay in it when I picked it up.
Oh wow!
And dude, like, I just words fail me when it comes to like just how amazing it is to be able to pick all those up in one go, and that like I was saying, to get them to people that we know that are actual restorers and Nintendo fans, to, you know, get these to the right people is fantastic. And
wow.
So
we're all sorry.
I was going to say, it's just so great to be able to get to them now before they go through any more deterioration over time, and they can all get a clean and a service, and hopefully get restored to the original wiring, and get them back to what they were originally for historic purposes. And surprisingly, these cabs as well, worth the mention, they're all in a lot better condition than the one that I picked up, where I had huge strips ripped off the side of mine, and there were chunks taken out of the speaker panel at the front. And might have seen from previous episodes if I mentioned it, but it was almost like bin worthy, and I saved it. It took me a year to restore it and get it back to a decent condition, but these 4 are in a lot better base condition than what mine was when I picked it up.
You're talking it down, by the way. It's not decent condition. It's fucking immaculate, man. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You probably can see 100 things that are wrong with it because you're a jerk to yourself, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's come a long way since the chalkboard paint on green on one side.
Oh man,
that
wow.
Chalkboard paint, eh? Jeez.
Oh, it looked like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
was pretty manky, whatever it was, but the sides were painted like a really thick sort of green paint, sort of that you'd paint like a chalkboard, or it was like an external paint that you'd paint your shed or maybe your fence with. Wasn't very good, but not an arcade cabinet. Naughty. But not anymore. It's all better. It all looks yellow now. So you look at because I've got a fluoro light that's directly above it, so you can. I did a video of these earlier on in the day. Once I'd taken my cabinet down out of my little arcade room and wheeled it in next to the lineup here, because I wanted to get a video of all of them. I was going to post that up, but
we should put that link to that in the show notes.
Yep, can do. So that's the main thing, and I know I've mentioned it already, but thanks to Neil again for giving me a hand, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without your help. And that's really appreciated to jump in there quick and get these secured and yeah, really, really happy with it. In addition to that, I know I was going to mention Space Demon, and that we looked at the cab a little earlier, but this again, Space Demon is more rare than even the HeliFire.
Wow.
So I think there's only there were two. I think there's only one now that Mike Hayland had one, and of course the fire at Mike's Arcade. I think that it destroyed his HeliFire and his Space Demon.
Jeez.
Yeah,
God.
and there was somebody else, may have even been in Canada. I don't know, but there is another one, and yeah, you could have knocked me over with a feather when I found out how rare this cabinet was, because I was really after something that I could just convert to a Donkey Kong, and having an original Nintendo cab is something that I always wanted. So yeah, to find that out and find out how rare it is, and I can assure you that it's not going to be a Donkey Kong. It's gonna be a Space Demon. It's going to be a Space Demon eventually, but trying to find a PCB for a game that rare is not easy. So I'm gonna have to start putting feelers out, and I don't expect to find one. And if I do, then yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to think of how much it's going to cost to buy a PCB for it, but yeah, great pickup. And further to that, we should give an honorable mention to, not my hat there, but the
Donkey Kong.
You're just surrounded.
Donkey Kong.
You're just surrounded by cabs, man.
So it's pretty bad, eh? So there's like the Woody here. So for you guys listening on audio only, I've turned my laptop stand around from the 5 HeliFire cabs I've got over my shoulder to my right, turn it around, and there's a Space Demon to my left, and there is the what's that game again?
Crazy Climber.
Crazy Climber to that one there, and then there's my LAI low boy wood grain cab. Further to the back, you can see JB's Donkey Kong cab that's going to come out of mothballs shortly, and
I can see why because I was hoping to get it at my place. I can see why you said it's kind of stuck at the moment.
I'm not done yet, and so
what?
Further around, there's also Scramble here as well, which
beautifully restored.
That gentleman is going to Mr. Jerry Scott to say thank you for finding that and hooking us up with it. And it's something that I bought this cabinet off of Johnny Bond when Johnny was leaving Oz, as he picked it up for it was a few $100. I can't remember exactly, but he had to offload it because he was leaving, and so I was happy to take that off his hands and do a restore on it. So that's finished, and it was down to 2 people who wanted to pick up the cab. I was one of them, and Jerry was another. So it's kind of nice now that it's fully restored, that it'll actually be going over to Jerry, who also wanted it as well. So there you go, JB. It found its way there eventually, and so that hopefully will be making its way to Flipped in Toowoomba at some point, so that everybody can play it instead of it just sitting in my garage doing nothing.
Good game too.
I'm not crazy about Scramble. I love the cabinet, but the game itself, it's okay. But
yeah, you're picky though, and I like everything.
Yeah. So like that brings us up to date on pickups. I know it's a big one, but we've got more to talk about than that. So,
I've actually got some more questions, Dennis, if that's okay.
No.
Well,
stiff shit.
Question time is over.
If you took the side panels off those HeliFires, would they be the same dimensions as like a Donkey Kong cab? Like, so is it just the sides that are different?
I think that they're actually a slightly deeper design, this cabinet. So
deeper.
Yeah, they actually sit. They're a lot sort of they're a lot longer than what a standard cabinet is. I'm sure of it because I looked at the classic uh, blue Nintendo that we all know and love, and looking at the design of it, it just doesn't look as long. Maybe it's an optical illusion just because of the straight lines of this design. But yeah, so to clarify a little further, these machines here, the monitor in these actually have an upright monitor, whereas the classic Nintendo, like I mentioned at the start, has a lean back design, so you can see it better when you're standing up playing. These didn't, and the original design was, I guess, not made with tall people in mind because the way that you see the bezel here, essentially the monitor is it's almost at the same angle, and so when you turn the cab on, the monitor's right there in your face, and Nintendo moved away from that design and went to the lean back that we know in Space Demon and all the other Donkey Kong games as well.
It's basically like it was a prototype design that it was sort of chucked together almost in a way.
Yeah, maybe. I love the original design. They're just nice, clean, sharp edges, but I really understand the practicality of maybe how it would sit in an arcade because it's almost got like blinders on either side. But yeah, Nintendo modified their design.
Good for privacy, you know?
Yeah. These have a box monitor in them as well. So it's like it's basically a TV that's on its side, and it still has the original bezel on the inside and a control panel that you can open up. And there's no adjustment buttons or dials or anything in there, but the plastic panel is still there in all of these ones. So yeah,
Cool.
this original design, I guess that Nintendo just got a bunch of TVs from Sanyo and just decided to turf them all into arcade machines, and that was what they started rolling out.
So cool. They belong in a museum almost, man. Like that kind of rarity.
Very Indiana Jones does, yeah.
Only you're basically Indiana Jones, Denny.
Yeah.
Not really.
in Denny Jones.
I'm a guy that has a mate called Jerry that keeps wording me up on things that I can't afford to buy, and then I go and pick them up.
He finds so much, doesn't he? He's just, I guess he's in different groups and things, and he's probably scrolling on Facebook Marketplace a lot.
Yeah, man, I guess that's why I was like, I feel so grateful to Jerry in posting this up, because without his help, I wouldn't have known until they were sold. I probably would have found the listing a week after that they sold, and it would have been like, oh. So
could have just gone to someone who ripped them apart and, you know, well, maybe not ripped them apart, but
LCD and 60 in one.
Yeah, just like completely did not restore them and went even further away from the original that they are now, even though they're not in great condition.
Yeah,
they are close to original.
It's an interesting point. So when you're talking about machines like ours that we know and love from LAI that are 80s, 90s machines, when I hear about those machines getting like a 60-in-1 with an LCD installed, and I don't really think too much of it because I know that there's so many of them around, and that it gives the machine a new lease on life, and that they were all universal cabinets anyway. I just don't have a problem with them being LCD and 60-in-1 because they get to be loved and played again. It's great. But this is not the same. If somebody did that to a machine like this, like let's say if someone got a Targ machine and did that to them, that it would just be, it's just not acceptable.
Neil would not be having a Targ about that.
That's sad times. Yeah,
it's just not
sad
cool.
Targ.
It's very sad Targ.
Emotional Targ. Yeah. Last question for you, Danny. I can see that we've got the two HeliFires next to each other. One that you've restored, and the other one that's like it would be all original parts. Are you going to take any of those parts that you've had made reproduction pieces made of to put on yours, or
that's been like I've had it's been such a big internal struggle that I've had with this to to decide whether I wanted to start ripping parts out of these things, and I can't do it. I can't do it. My machine does not have an original Nintendo stick. This is an 8-way from a reproduction for a Nintendo Play Choice, but it still works great. It's really it doesn't detract from the gameplay at all. It's still a great cabinet to play. Hopefully, it'll be at BPAC again this year for playing. But I really did want the original hardware for it. I really wanted the original Nintendo HeliFire stick because it's a unique design. And as far as I know, it's only made for that 8-way stick was only made with HeliFire because it's so over-engineered, but it's beautiful. Man, it's so fun to like. I don't know, like I've seen them online, and when I picked this cab up, I remember talking to someone in the States who wanted to sell me a control panel for $600 US for just the control panel, and it was like in pretty bad shape. I was like, nah, I can't afford it.
Dude,
but
you deserve one of those joysticks, man.
I can't do it. I can't break it up. Can't do it.
I'll do it for you.
Nah.
It's funny you say that, Dennis, because they like all three of the ones that have the HeliFire design look like all three of those sticks look different on each cab. Like
yes, they are. Yeah. So this one we've talked about. The next one down is an original stick, and it has the original mechanism. The next one down also does have the original mechanism, but it looks like the joystick and ball top has been replaced with a cocktail cabinet one.
Yep.
So it sits a bit more proud from the control panel, and the ball top is, and the ball top is
proud.
That's a carpentry term when something sticks on top of when something sticks ahead of something else that you've glued together, it's proud. So like that's 6 mil proud of the other one. Sorry. Anyway,
no,
so
you're right.
It's not important. This isn't the play it up freaking
carpentry podcast.
Carpentry cast. It's sorry. So that next one down has I think it's 25 mil cocktail cab ball top. And the next one down, so the second one from the end before the Space Invaders panel one, is actually the short stem Nintendo cocktail cab joystick. So it's like some short ass little freaking thing. It's kind of like this, but in horrible condition and needs to be serviced and hopefully replaced if someone can find a replacement. Man, I'd love it if someone could do repros of these because I'd snap one up. One thing I might do is I might look at getting the monitor from the one that hasn't sold yet and exchanging it with my working monitor here, just because it's original and that I really want an original monitor and chassis set for this cabinet. So
do it, man.
Maybe I might do a bit of a swapsy and test it all out and see if it works. But that's all I plan to. That's all I plan to do, Neil. I want to kind of leave them as untouched as I can. It's sort of in mind with the whole sort of restoration thing that I'd like to keep them complete as much as possible.
You're doing good work, mate. Yeah. What was that, Neil?
Keep them virgin. Keep them pure.
Yeah. They've been working. These things are in cab. All these cabs are in arcades in like Fortitude Valley over the 80s. They ain't virgin. I'll tell you that right.
They've seen some shit.
Yeah, they've seen some fucking shit.
Oh man, don't run a blue light or black light over them. No?
Oh, we could black light over. I'm sure that it would be mainly semen, but let's keep that air of mystery around them and not do that. Especially before I go cleaning them up. I'm not going to clean anything just in case, like when I'm doing a wipe down of them, that any of the gel coat chips off, because like it's 40-year-old gel coat, so I'm sure that it's going to be more brittle than when they were first made, and I'd hate to be scrubbing along and then like a big section chip off. So I'll leave them to their loving new owners to Yep. I think
I'm sure repainting them would be a breeze, Dennis.
I know a guy.
I
It's
bet
not
it very
me.
much at a bar.
Oh, that's
Oh
so
man.
awesome, Denny. I'm stoked, man.
So
Stoked
that's
for you and everyone who ends up getting one.
yeah. Look, it's cool, and thank you for letting me harp on about it. I know it's taken a lot longer in the show than what I wanted to spend talking about it, but
Man, no way. I've been waiting to hear about this since you got them. And I'm sure fair few people have who knew about it. And if they didn't, screw them. Nah, I think this is exactly what this podcast is about, man. Interesting stuff like that is we're all for it. It's so cool. Original marquee, HeliFire marquee there too. I love that. Artwork's
yes,
pretty cool, man. It is really cool artwork.
yeah, it's interesting to see what's been done with the reproduction that's on mine, which I think looks really striking, and all the colors are bold. It's beautiful, but then when you look at the original, it still looks amazing, but it almost looks like a slightly different color palette. It's a lot lighter, and it doesn't look like it's sun faded much.
Oh, really? I was thinking it must have been faded.
I don't think so,
Right.
man. I think the repro stuff is maybe a lot more vibrant than what the original stuff was. Like, but yeah, the stuff that I got from Escape Pod, I don't know if you noticed, but the bezel on mine is actually reversed. So the artwork should actually be flipped around, and
Oh,
I was pretty pissed off when I got it because like I paid a lot of money to get it here to Australia, and then I found that it was actually it's around the wrong fucking way. So
did you have a word with them?
look, I'm not unhappy with the quality of the product, so I didn't really bother saying shit because I didn't think I'd get
Man.
anything out of it anyway. Like I didn't
Have you thought about putting it on the other way?
just flipping it around.
Does it work like that?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It's food for thought, though, definitely.
Worth a try.
Yeah,
honestly, they should have sent you another one for free because that's not what you ordered. That's not what you wanted. It's
yeah, I know.
It's around the bloody wrong way.
It is around the bloody wrong way. Right, you are. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the stick that you see here on the artwork, it should be in line with the joystick on the control panel.
Of course, it should.
How are you supposed to fly a chopper like that?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
If they sent you,
Fuck.
if they sent you a marquee that said like "Felly Hire," or it was something like that, like
I'd go with it.
You would be
Neil.
like, what is this? Like, that's the wrong way. It's not
Yeah, I
right.
know. Yeah, I guess that I probably wouldn't be happy with a fairly higher marquee. Now that you mention it,
Well, there'd only be one of them in the world, so it'd be pretty
be
rare.
unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that, mate. I'm not going to order from them if I ever get a cab. Tell you what.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
I think I'm more pissed than you.
I don't know. I was just happy to have something new and pretty flash. And to be honest, when I got it, I was like, when are you ever going to see another one? Who's going to fucking know? And now look.
Yeah. I didn't know. I had no idea. I've played that cab. I had no idea.
Nope.
But I mean, what do you compare it to? Except for the fucking four of them that is next to it now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we shouldn't focus on it. Sorry, Denny.
Nah, it's fine. Look, I was the one that mentioned it, so like,
True.
You can't mention it and then be like, oh, we shouldn't talk about it. Well, of course we should talk about it.
You asked for it.
It's right there.
Fucking felly higher.
Tell me about it. So that's nice. It. If you guys wanted
what have you been playing? Have you been had time playing or for any gaming or
been studying? Because uni, I got my my results back from my first quiz, or like it's first exam of the one of the subjects, and I got a distinction, so that's good.
I mean, yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No, that is good. That is good.
Boom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It went
sorry, I
from
didn't
boo to boom.
finish. It's
uh,
your catchphrase, isn't it, Denny? Went from boo to boom.
yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe. No.
No.
Games I've been playing. We did play Game of System Game of the Month last month. I wanted myself a little holiday from Donkey Kong because fuck that game. And
Yeah.
was playing. Went from one bad game to another. So played Rainbow Islands for a month. Which let's be nice about it. It's okay. It's just the mechanics of the game are so unfair sometimes, and yeah, just
Yep.
it makes it unfun. Like all the great things about the game, and then it just yeah. Sometimes when you're playing it, like just the way that you play it with the rainbows and the way that you use them to get around obstacles and stuff, it feels a
It's
bit
very
janky.
unnatural, man. I found it very unnatural. Like
Mm.
I got better with it, but it's not one of those games that you can just because it's so different. Like you
Nope.
run on these things but then if you jump on them, they fall. You can run on them and then like run through a platform and run into an enemy.
Mm.
But I didn't play it that much, so it could just be that I'm shit at it.
Me too. Um,
Well, you
so
had a pretty
played.
good score.
Uh, I don't. There was no way I was going to catch JM and Tagster. Both just
Yeah,
weapons.
beasts.
Too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
had a good run, but I played it a lot more than I expected I was going to. I just wanted to have a crack at it and play something that wasn't Donkey Kong for a while. um, so,
Good idea.
but now I am back playing DK again, and I had a couple of games of just D-Rust, just to stretch my DK legs again after Neil's kill screen. Fucking beast. So you guys talked about that in the last episode, which was awesome. So
Man, that was such an experience.
yeah, yep.
When he had,
Just
especially that Rivers play.
yeah, Neil's straight jumps. I was gonna make a point of
Yeah,
saying that. Just
stiff as a
Neil
board.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just hunching further and further over until like he could almost not even see the screen, and me and you reacting like maniacs behind
Yeah.
him, dude.
Oh,
It
oh
was so
no.
good, man. It was one of the coolest moments I've had at Netherworld, actually. There's been a
Oh,
lot.
I'm
Yeah, it
nervous
was.
still thinking about it. Holy shit.
Yeah. Luckily, I only had to do like the 4 jumps. Like, imagine if I had to do 6, I probably wouldn't be seen at Netherworld. Like,
Mm.
just like lowered myself into the ground.
And Neil's disappeared.
Yeah.
Stuck between cabs.
Ugh. I wouldn't blame you for needing a nice lay down after that one. Holy shit. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It
You were
was, yeah.
laughing. Like we were all just laughing. It was that ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was,
It was just
it
like
was awesome.
I was just elated. Like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but like, I was just like super surprised that it actually pulled it off. And like, I couldn't give a crap if what happened to the game after that. I was just like,
Yeah,
I
hell
did
yeah.
something, you do something to a game new in a game that you haven't done before, that you've played 100 times, yeah, it was just fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to give it to that game, man. It's just because of the nature of just how insane the RNG can be. It also means that it gives you something entirely new, like every now and then, just
Mm.
something that you would just think, the fuck. Like, I
Mm.
just, yeah, sitting there and watching that, it was just like, I haven't seen this before. The fuck.
Mm.
Pro
That was pretty,
strats.
yeah, it was definitely pro strats. Kill screened it
I've
after that.
seen people do it like before, but not to that level. Like a couple of straight jumps, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And maybe not where they're sandwiched between 2 fireballs with just enough gap so that you don't hit the one across the
Rivet gap, yeah.
rivet gap and still manage to avoid that little fucker running under you.
Yep.
Just like burning your feet.
Exactly. Let's see tech do that shit.
Yeah. Oh man. That was sick. So you had a few games, Denny, and how'd you go with
Yeah.
those?
In the D-Rust games I was playing, I was getting like 300s, which isn't bad for first few games back. I find playing now that I seem to have lost my eye for playing springs again, and that I was super comfortable playing springs, and that I feel like I could have played them with my eyes shut when I was playing consistently. And it's funny, I stopped for a few weeks, go back to it, and now I sit there and watch the patterns, and it's like wherever that was stored is just it's gone. Yeah. And so
spring muscle.
Yep. So I've got to flex my spring muscle again, get it rigid again.
Oh,
I don't know.
You always get me rigid, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Hey guys, Shaun here. Thanks to everyone who tunes into the Play It Up podcast. We really love doing this podcast and really appreciate everyone who listens. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Play It Up Podcast. You can find the full video podcast on YouTube, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Anchor, and more. If you want to ask us a question, you can do so on Anchor, and your question will be featured on the podcast. If you like what we do, please remember to like, review, comment, follow or subscribe, and please recommend us to your friends. Thanks guys, and enjoy the episode.
Couple movies, Starship Troopers on DVD.
Oh, fuck
boy.
yeah.
I gotta watch that on a CRT, man. Bit of Django Unchained.
Nice.
Yeah, and Hacksaw Ridge is a really cool movie.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's good, man. You can borrow that if you want. I mean, I know there's this thing called streaming now, but whoa, that was creepy. I looked down and I saw someone coming in the door, and I thought for a second, like, oh, there's someone behind me. Wow, what a noob. Neil's in my house. Wow.
Yeah, that is scary thought.
What a dream.
My mum doesn't even live here. Doesn't make sense. Neil's like, yeah, that's right. So yeah, I recently went to an op shop. I think it's like the Lifeline at Logan. And I picked up a few things, just some movies and some graphic novels, aka comics. The camera's actually sitting on the comics, so I'm not going to change that around because I used them to prop it up a bit. Picked up like Hacksaw Ridge and Starship Troopers and Django Unchained, just some Blu-rays, ex-rental. It's kind of cool. Don't know where from. 7-day exchange of credit. No idea.
Yeah, nice one.
Oh yeah, Victoria Point. Cool.
Vicky Point.
So that was from the Vicky Point.
Video Easy.
Doesn't say. It has the phone number. I could probably figure it out, but
let's call them.
Yeah. Oh, when's $2 Tuesday on you dickheads?
Do you have Django? Oh, that's all right. I've got one. Fuck you. No, don't do that.
Video Easy.
That's actually crazy that there were still video rentals out when Django came out.
Yeah, I know. What the?
And Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Right.
That it must have been one of the last. They probably went bust and then gave all their stuff away to Lifeline, or someone bought some stuff and then traded it in.
Yep. It's just all the oldies saying, this streaming stuff won't fucking catch on. We'll just run our video shop the way we've always run it. And then it's just gone to fucking absolute shit. Not that that happened, but hey, it's Vicky Point, so probably. Just saying.
Probably gone. But I went to the op shop, and because me and Michelle were going to the coast, and we stopped off near there for some brekkie coffee. And yeah, they had like a bunch of comics and stuff. I got Guardians of the Galaxy, another one called Username Eevee. That's actually a hardcover. Looks like, I looked it up on eBay. It's like $20 to $30, I think. And Injection. They just looked cool and they were cheap. So
Injection, eh?
Yeah. By Image Comics, and the artwork's like pretty sick. So if anyone's interested, check that out. Yeah, I picked up a bunch of stuff, like $30 for a fair few things, 30-something bucks. But I ended up talking to a guy who was putting stuff out. He noticed me like hovering around the comic section because he was putting more stuff out. And he said, oh, yeah, we get them all the time. And he said, this is actually because he collects vintage glassware, which straight away made me think of Dak. And I asked him, I was like, oh, you mean like Royal Dalton and stuff? He was like, oh, no, not really.
Any Royal Dalton?
Yeah,
Nah.
he
What,
he he collects other stuff. I
what
can't
about
remember
that
what
Waterford
exactly.
shit?
I said, "Oh, you mean like good quality Kmart stuff?" He said he goes to op shops himself, so he's the manager of that one, and he was
Oh,
putting
okay.
stuff out on the shelves as well. And we just had a chat, and he says, "Yeah, he goes to op shops all the time," and that he said that he thinks that one's one of the best, the one that he works at. And he's like, "I know I work here. I'm not just being biased. Like, I actually go to a lot of different op shops." And I said, "Oh, do you ever get many video games in?" He said, "Yeah, all the time." He said, "If you want, leave your number at the front counter, and if something comes in, I'll text you." His name's Adam, so
Sweet.
I don't know if he'll ever hear this, but shout out to you, mate. And left him my number. Same day, he texted me. Same day or next day, he texted me saying, "Yeah, we just got some PSP games in." Sent me a photo, and it's Medieval, Midway, or Acclaim, I think, Arcade Classics. I think it was a Midway. Yeah, it had Mortal Kombat on it, so one
Cool.
of the two.
Yeah.
It should have been Midway, right, for arcade, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And another game that I can't remember right now, but 3 PSP games all in their box, and that $5 each.
Awesome.
It's a steal. And I just said, "Yeah, I'll take them." And he said, "Yeah, they'll be at the counter for you." And I'm just like, I got an inside man at an op shop. This is so cool.
Sweet.
Because
Oh,
Johnny told me a story about it, how he used to work at an op shop and also knew someone, I think, at that op shop before he worked there, or a different op shop. I can't remember. But he would get heaps of his collection that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So pretty stoked to see. Hey, we'll see where that goes. I'll update on the podcast with anything. But yeah, so far so good. That was only last weekend, and I've already got a few PSP games out of it.
That's awesome.
Score.
Yeah.
Tell him to look out for CRTs if they come in, I suppose.
Yeah.
You never know.
Actually, that's a good idea. I think legally, because they have to test them and everything with electronics like that, I don't know if they ever do it. TVs and things. You don't often
Yeah.
see TVs at op shops.
No, you never do. But
Hmm.
I thought if he's
That's
an
interesting. Yeah.
inside friend, might be
True.
lucky.
If it's not an official.
If he really was your friend, he'd pass that on, you know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's going to text me, "Hey, mate, 20 HeliFire cabs just came in.
Yeah. Are they shit? Well, kind of, but they're expensive. So.
Give you $5 each."
Nah, it's actually a really fun game, to be honest. I never
Yeah, I
took
think it's a good game.
I never took to HeliFire much when I was playing it on MAME, but playing it on a cab with all of the analog sounds that are missing in MAME, it makes it so much more fun to play.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it's very surprising. It's a Barra approved game as well. He loves it. So
Still
Right.
approval.
yep.
Oh, it's sweet as, bro.
Yeah.
World record.
Oh,
He probably would. If this thing is at BPAC, then I think he does. I think he mentioned that he wanted to like have a crack at a world record for it. I think it's only like it's like 30K or something like that, which takes a while on this, but it's doable. It's definitely doable. So Barra, if you're listening, then yeah, we'll get Tanner to see if we can put this out at BPAC again this year and have a go. Get on it, son.
Give it a hiding. I'll give it a hiding. I'll get the world record.
His voice is a lot deeper than that though, but yeah.
I can't do it. Oh,
It sounds
I'll
funny.
I'll give it a hiding.
No, go with the
Get a world record. Yeah,
That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Apart from that, not really any other parts I can think of. Just been playing Alwa's Awakening a lot on the NES, and that game is fantastic. The music is insane.
Yeah.
Playing it on my CCTV with some nice Sony speakers, and every time you go into like a new area, that area has its own song.
Yep.
And I'm just not getting sick of the music at all. And I've been playing it for many hours now. And
that's great.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It's like a 2D dungeon crawler. And you pick up, it's kind of a Metroidvania style where you do get powers as you go and you use them in different ways. Lots of hidden stuff and backtracking and things. But when you backtrack, there's usually something new to discover because you've got a different power now. And I don't know how much I mentioned it on the podcast, but it was a Steam game that they designed to be an NES game, like from the beginning. it was designed to be an NES game, but they made it for modern, I guess not consoles, but modern platforms. And it was just on Steam, and then they did a demake, so they had to like redraw a lot of the art and change the rooms and everything so it would fit, 4:3 because the original's widescreen, and release it as a physical cartridge through Retrobit, which I got from Limited Run. And I had it in Germany, and I wasn't able to play it until moving back here because I could have played it there if I bought like the right adapter and stuff for the AV Famicom, which I've actually ended up doing now. Because when I played it on my PAL NES, it only supports mono sound, and it was only coming out one of my speakers because I've bypassed the CCTV, so to a switcher to go directly into speakers. So because the CCTV also just has mono, I wanted to have it in stereo.
Yeah.
So I've got a cartridge adapter for my AV Famicom. I can now play it in there, and it plays friggin' awesome, and it is fantastic. Anyone who likes good video games, check it out. Yeah. Apart from that game, I finished It Takes Two with my mate. I think I might have spoken about that last podcast. Shout out to you, Vince. He's actually in that room there.
Hey, Vince.
Hi, mate. We finished that, and I finished Atari 50, kind of like.
Cool.
Can't finish all those games, but I got through like the timeline. That was really cool. And I played a bit of Rainbow Islands. Yeah.
Now that you've played all the games, what like a couple of the standouts on the Atari 50?
Centipede for the 7200. Really cool.
Yaz Revenge, surely.
Yaz Revenge is cool. They did a remake of Yaz Revenge as one of the unique games that was released as part of that collection. Yaz Revenge is cool. I didn't play it too much. So I played the games a bit. Unless it really grabbed me, I moved on quickly to get along the timeline.
Yeah.
Most of them, I didn't play much because there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of good stuff as well.
Yeah.
That's the
Missile
beauty of it,
Command,
though.
still a standout.
Yep. Great game.
Whatever it gets released on, I like it. 2600 version's great. There was a 3D version that came out on the Jaguar.
Wow.
And it was weird, man, because it was actually designed to be part of their VR thing as well. And you can play like the VR version, and it's first person view, and you kind of teleport between the different stations that you're shooting from.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah,
that'd be
like
trippy.
Yeah. It wasn't a fan.
Interesting idea. Like, I can't imagine how it would work. It seems weird, but yeah. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right.
Talk over the top of you.
No, it's all good. It is weird. You're right. What else did I play on there? Crazy Karts was because I love kart racing games. That was one of the cool ones. I think it's Atari Karts. It might just be called, not Crazy Karts. It was pretty good, pretty well animated. Didn't play the best, but it's got a lot to live up to with all the different Mario Kart games and Konami Crazy Races, I think it's called, or Konami Crazy Karts. That game's fantastic on the Game Boy Advance. The standouts would be just like the Centipedes and Missile Commands. There's probably some other games that was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, so memory is a bit fuzzy on the other games, but there was a fair few where I was like, no, it was pretty sweet. This is PC, arcade, console, handheld, so many games. And nice. They did a good job of emulating them all. And yeah, definitely recommend it. Lots of cool little documentary snippets, videos, and things like that. And yeah, that was a cool part. The game called The Stacks. That was from Ready Player One. The game that they actually described in the book was made for the Atari 2600 as well, like in the 2010s at some point, I think. Yeah, I think it's Ernest Cline, the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Ernst Cline. Yeah,
Ernst, is it?
Yep.
He was part of that as well, and can't remember who helped him develop it, but yeah, they made a game, The Stacks, and it's like, as he said, he thinks it's one of the best games on the Atari, and it makes sense if you make a game like 30-ish years after the console kind of wasn't being used, like with all the game design that's been learned from then and how to get the most out of the technology. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Wow.
definitely check it out. Yeah, I think you can probably download it for free or buy it.
I will.
Somewhere. Yeah,
I'll check
pretty
that out.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Atari inspired him surely to write the book partially, and then from the book someone's gotten together with him and made the game that's described in the book about the stacks, where they live, all the houses or trailers are basically stacked on top of each other. Yeah, trippy.
Yeah.
He's actually part of the documentary, Ernst Klein, part of one of the videos.
Yep.
Really cool. Yeah, but that's me. Let's hear about what Big Strog's been up to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, if you've been listening to the PARP podcast, I've been having a bit of controller problems.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so just a little known podcast that, yeah. So I decided to test around because I've got two arcade joysticks. I've made the same. I usually just have one for a 4-way, and the other one with an 8-way stick, just so I don't have to bother playing around with the one stick too much. So I actually got the grounding wire from the 8-way joystick and chucked it in the 4-way, and that was exactly the problem. So it's probably the first time I've had the arcade stick set up with the Pack Pro to play Spectar, and I realized how broken it was, and that it's been broken for some time because it just wasn't it wasn't moving right when I was moving the stick. It wasn't very responsive, and yeah,
Was it moving left?
it was
That
just
was a
not.
bad joke.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I've really enjoyed playing it again with a working joystick.
Funny that.
And yeah, pretty much. So 2 games after I got the fixed it up, I actually broke my record on it. So I'm sitting at 85,540 now.
Mate, that's worth having a tag over. That is
triple figures soon.
Yeah, well, I'd really love to get to triple figures. I don't know if I will, but yeah, certainly really happy with the improvement. The arcade score is world record is 80,000. So if I can just get this board up and running, yeah, we'll be home and hosed. So
just another world record for Neo.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. I'd like to.
Can tell Phil Day all about it.
P Diddy,
yeah. Phil. Yep.
He's he's a great supporter of mine. I also talked to Robert Merchek a fair bit about it.
Is that right?
Yeah. I kind of reached out to him for some tips early on, and he was able to tell me a lot about the game, because I had a lot of questions in regards to why it wasn't as popular as other games at the time, and yeah, we had a bit of a chat about that because it was really interesting having a perspective of somebody who lived in America at the time of the arcade boom and what was coming out and things like that. And he kind of draws it down to the difficulty of the game was too high. And Exidy didn't have the graphical scale of like games that came out at similar times like Pac-Man with like colorful characters. So
Pac-Man's just a Spectar ripoff, man.
Oh, look, this is I really want to go down this road, but I can tell you now that Spectar is a far better created game than Pac-Man. The amount of different things that it's provided compared to Pac-Man is just.
Why aren't you wearing a Spectar shirt then?
So people ask me, "Hey, Pac-Man's really cool. That's why I wear it, right?" They're like, "Hey, yeah, I really like Pac-Man." I'm like, "Pac-Man's shit. You should play Spectar."
It's a
It's
trap.
just
It's a
bait.
trap. Yeah.
Neil
And
Neil pulls out his other shirt, puts the Spectar
just
shirt
rip.
on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's just underneath like a Spectar tattoo. Just
Yep. He's got a sticker on the back
Yeah.
of the Lancer. My other car is Inspector.
No,
Yes.
I'll
We
stop
gotta
there
make
because
one of those for Neil.
I'll stop now because like if you get me caught on as the comparison to Pac-Man, you're in trouble.
The rabbit hole.
So yeah, really excited to have it up and running again
Yeah,
because
man.
yeah, and Oz reached out to me, Awashua, on the Discord, and he said that he'd like to help me um, test the voltage to the board to see if we can fix that up or to see how low it's running after the jammer connector. So yeah, we'll have a look at that, and then I don't know where to go from there. I'll probably I'll probably get some tips off Dennis, who's a guru with these kind of
Yeah.
things. So
Well, if you need, I'm happy to drop by and we can run through some tests with it and find out what's happening with that audio connector as well, because it sounds like that's been giving you a hard time too.
yeah, well, it turned out not to be any kind of an issue because like
Yeah,
I
I know you built out the cables and that the harness and the connections weren't actually the problem, right? So you
yeah
originally suspected that was going to be a problem, right? But it's not.
yeah yeah it's
Hmm.
doesn't matter which way it goes on, which is really bizarre. I'm still
Okay.
getting my head around that because like the tracing actually rainbows around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I saw a photo that you put up about it that yeah, I
yeah,
don't it's very unique. I've never seen another game. I'm sure there are others around that are like that, but I've never seen one. It's yeah, it's bizarre. It's
yeah,
cool. You can't fuck it up, but at the
yeah,
same time, yeah, wow. Um,
yeah. But yeah, certainly more than happy for you to have a look at and tell me
I
what I'm doing wrong. So
just want to get you rolling so that you're playing on original hardware and you can have a crack at that score, mate.
yeah,
Get
certainly.
it going.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Is that going to be a
Appreciate it.
Netherworld score again, Neil?
I can't see why not, and I'll just take a day off and take it into Netherworld and do it there again. Uh, I
Love it.
think Jimmy appreciates it. And yeah,
Yeah.
I get a free beer, so everyone
Everybody
wins that
wins, really.
usually. Hmm.
Every world record, you get a free beer. Is that all you got to do?
Or a kill
Just
screen.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to make a game that only I know how to play.
yeah,
Take it to Netherworld.
yeah.
Get the world record.
Yep.
Do it.
World record and kill screen.
Final furlong.
Two beers. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Final furlong. Do it. Yeah,
Final furlong.
yeah. It's a horse racing game.
You know,
I love it.
yeah.
Right.
You have to actually you have to actually push this horse and
It's
yeah, so it's
fucking
hilarious.
exhausting, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it
really
kills your
funny to
calves.
watch people play.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so what was the other game that you were playing, Neil? It's with the frog and the flies. What was the name of that one that I saw you playing on Discord?
Yeah. So
Codes.
I've been branching out a little bit because I've had this broken controller and I haven't been able to play Spectre. I've been playing some other games. So I picked up Frogs, which was a 19, I think it was like 78 Gremlin game.
So it's actually called Frogs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So before Sega Gremlins Frogger, there was a game called Frogs. It's the first game to have a jump mechanic of a character.
Ah, okay.
And it goes for 90 seconds, and you have to jump and try and you got a shoot button, which is your tongue, and you have to try and catch as many insects as you can within the time frame.
Within
So
90 seconds. Wow.
yeah, so it's a really cool game. I really like it, and I'll probably play some more after Spectre.
Yep.
Also been playing some Depth Charge, which is a 1979 game. I think it's built by Gremlin again. Very simple. You're like a battleship on the top of the water, and you're throwing shooting depth charges down to submarines underneath, and they're shooting up at you. So
Wow.
Cool.
that was really cool. I also played a game called Leprechaun, where it's kind of like a game of Tiggy. You got like a leprechaun chasing you down, and you have to run through the trees to collect some points, and then jump into a pot of gold, which the leprechaun is like trying to keep away from you. So
Wow.
yeah, if you see the Leprechaun arcade machine, it is hilarious. It's actually built the size of a leprechaun is the idea. So it was made for kids, so like a mini arcade machine for kids.
Ah, that's perfect for you, Neil. You love this. You love small cabs, mate.
Speaking of small cabs, when we went and picked up the
love that segue.
good one. When we were picking up those red cabs behind you that look fucking awesome, there was also these very unique wood grain cabinets that were they're not cabaret and they're not low boys.
Yeah, there's somewhere in between. Hey,
Yeah. So it seems like the idea is to like either I would have to say you're sitting down, Dennis, right? Like oh no, they're too high to sit down. So but they're very
they're too high to sit at unless you've got like an adjustable back drafts person chair like what I've do, where you can adjust and it's like a really tall stool that you can sit on. That would be fine. But then if you're standing up, it's like they're like right down there. They're too short, and so we'll put a photo up of one. It's they're really bizarre. Like they look cool, but they're just I feel like they're impractical. But Neil's like, oh, look at this.
This is I couldn't. I went home and I'm like, how can I not get this? Like with my collection of arcade machines, like this has to go in.
Oh man.
So
For sure.
To describe my collection, like it is like a whisper away from shit cabs territory, I think.
You have eclectic taste in machines, I think.
Semi shit cabs.
It's
they're
like
not though. They're every single one of every one of everyone that I've seen in your collection. I've never seen one like it, and it's like even like your little short cab with like the orange control panel and the other little multitude of different ones that you've got. I don't see them anywhere, and you've got the only one of all these rando ones, and I kind of really dig the collection that you're building, and this would be perfect for it.
Because it's like I really love wood grain, and this is like a wood grain one again, and it almost like is probably like a 15-degree angle that slopes up, so you're pretty much like looking down, like it's actually a really good angle of the monitor, like you're facing like completely flat on in a way if your neck is on a hardcore angle.
And you're gonna have with all these, like, you're a tall dude, man, and you've got all these mini cabs. You're gonna have like severe neck and back issues. Like,
it's already started.
Yeah.
But,
What do you mean already?
already. Yeah. But I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys a picture of.
So you didn't say if you've picked it up yet or not, or if you're going to. I don't think.
No, I haven't. I'm going to try and get to them on the Easter weekend, to have a look again, because the other question is what was in these arcade machines. I'm really perplexed as to what they could have been set up for, because they're all set up vertically. I noticed on one of them there's a bomb button, and I'm trying to, like, I was searching the other night as to like games that I'm interested that have that kind of setup, and I'm I think I found on one of them there's like a little kind of like a picture. Well, I don't know what you call, like on the left hand side of the screen, and I think it might be Tempest.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
But that's the only kind of giveaway as to what these guys like these
What
arcade
if
machines.
what if it's a vector? Man,
Yeah,
what if it's a color vector?
yeah. Well, there was like a mini kind of cocktail
Yeah, there was
asteroid
an asteroid. Yeah. No,
cab.
yep. In the
So
singular, not asteroids, which was interesting. Hmm.
I'll, I'll
Just the one asteroid that you got to
Yep.
shoot
Just
down.
just one asteroid. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but I found this
Yeah.
picture. I might just turn this down.
Bloody hell, you're trying to blind us, mate.
It's I found this through I used Google Images to
Oh, look at that.
on my on the
Ah,
cabs that I had on the pictures I had of the
Spectar.
cabs,
Ah, okay.
and I
Okay.
found this Spectar one,
It's
which is like
gorgeous.
a very similar design of what these arcade machines were. So I'm not saying it was Spectar because like Spectar's horizontal,
Might
but
might
these are
be
vertical. But
might be a good cab for it.
yeah, potentially. Yeah, I'll see if I'd be able to
Do
um,
it.
change the dimension of change it from like horizontal,
Yeah,
vertical to
vert to
horizontal.
horizontal. Yeah.
Neil,
But
you need to invest
anyway,
in a harness that hangs down from the roof and you can just lay basically horizontal and play these
yeah,
games and you won't have back issues.
yeah, yeah. That's
Like a
it's on the
sex swing.
cards.
Why not just do it to the cabinet so that it's like the cabinet's up in the air instead?
Mm,
Right. Because the
yeah.
cabinet's too precious, you know.
Of
So
course.
yeah, I
It-
think. Sorry, go on, Sean.
I don't have anything to say. I'm just tired and laughing.
Mm.
Yeah. I think
So
it's
yeah,
great though.
yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've been searching hard for boards. I've got like a list of
Mm.
boards that I'd like to find. It's just rare as hen's teeth. I'm really struggling in the board department to find what I want. So, but yeah, just happy with what I've got. So, yeah.
The search
Good way to be,
continues.
mate.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
So guys, Death by Arcade coming up this weekend. So
Oh yeah.
how you all feeling about it?
Pumped.
Oh, you would
Um,
be, man, after a long put off, you're probably keen to get in there and spend as much time as you can. Netherworld.
Yeah. And I've been
um,
part of organizing it with Mike and Aaron and Neil
Oh.
with some input as well. Uh, Neil's been in the group chat.
yeah, so I missed the meeting. Like I was gonna go to the meeting, which was set on Monday, and then it was changed quickly to Wednesday or something like that. And I
Yeah.
missed. And
I mean, I've been to one more meeting than you, basically. That's all.
well,
That's
but you missed the first meeting, so not really. Suck it.
Oh, then there you go. I'm terrible too.
Yeah.
Suck
Go,
it.
Mike.
Yeah, yeah, Mike's doing well. But we've got a pretty good list there. A bunch of comps organized for the whole time, but I'm pretty sure as part of that meeting we talked about people aren't expected to play in everything, and if you need a chill and you want to do your own thing, like we're going to have so many cool games there apart from what's involved in the comps. There's going to be other games too that people might want to play.
Mm.
I'll
I'm
bring
keen.
in Alwa's Awakening. Show you guys that.
I'm keen to play some Kangaroo if that's still around because I saw that posted on Netherworld's socials today, and I was like, "Ooh, I hope that's there for the weekend. That'd be good."
Fuck yeah! Anyone who doesn't know, Death by Arcade is being held on this coming Saturday. What's going to be the date? 9th, is it?
Maybe, yeah. So let me check.
Check.
Yeah, Saturday the 8th.
Okay, 9 a.m. till 9 a.m. on the Sunday the 9th.
Yes.
24 hours at Netherworld. Just a bunch of sweaty blokes. Probably will be some females.
Yeah, sorry.
Having to put up with that. Yeah, sorry, ladies. But yeah, I'm super pumped and been looking forward to it for a long time.
Yep. So
Years.
yeah, I was thinking that I might bring some stuff, or maybe just my phone again, and use that to maybe have a chat with a few people as we go through the 24 hours at this point, and just check in with people at either 4 or 6 hour intervals and see where they're at and how they're traveling. And when we, I think the funniest thing about last year's episode we did on Death by Arcade was just everybody from between 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. was just, yeah. Yeah, have a listen to the episode if you're listening, and
so good.
Get yourself acquainted with it.
Well, I think if all 4 of us try and get some footage, it would be really cool. And
yeah,
just timeline it.
Yeah,
we'll document the decay of our psyches.
Be our own little Blair Witch project, but inside Netherworld. Be cool. Be awesome.
I'm excited.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's all I got, team. You guys, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just make sure you bring some spare undies.
Yeah, definitely.
Death by Arcade.
My gooch was on fire last time. It was insane. like burning rubber.
I recall. I think that photo I took of you and Mike by the cabs.
Good God.
I talked to you after I took the photo. I'm like, how you going? You're like, oh, look, to be honest, I'm chafing really bad. It's like, oh, fuck. That's why
I'll bring you some comfy undies that are made for sport to avoid the chafing.
Get your step ones on. Nice. Yep.
Yeah, I've got some of them.
Oh, good on you.
The ones I got are too tight though. I had to buy some other ones.
Sorry.
Lose a kg or two.
Carpentry and undies.
Oh yeah.
This one's going off.
Yep. Play It Up podcast.
Wild times.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it a wrap, and we'll certainly have an episode after Death by Arcade.
Definitely.
We'll do like a special for that, I think.
Thanks for listening,
guys.
everyone.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks.
Catch us later.